Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our council meeting tonight. It's the fourth meeting of the 146th Council of the Corporation of the City of St. Thomas. Are there any disclosures of interest from any of the members? Seeing none, we'll move on to minutes.
I have a motion that the minutes of the meeting held on February the 2nd, 2026 be confirmed. Moved by Councillor Reimel, seconded by Councillor Baldwin-Sands.
Questions or comments on the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Council will now resolve itself into committee of the whole to deal with the following business. First committee is strategic direction and development. First item relates to a proposed zoning bylaw amendment for a property on Centre Street. I have a motion that report PD 0826 relating to a proposed zoning bylaw amendment for a property on Centre Street be received for information, and further that a public meeting be scheduled for March the 9th, 2026 in accordance with Regulation 545/06 as amended. Moved by Councillor Kohler, seconded by Councillor Herbert.
Questions or comments? Councillor Reimel.
I'll just make a comment. I know we're going to have a public meeting, but it's just a concern with this one as far as reducing the size of the lot that you can have, and also the front yard setback, and also the lack of green space. You know, it looks like just a parking lot and then no green space for these dwellings. So I think that's might be an overall issue we need to look at, you know, in the future as far as minimum landscaping requirements, but it just seems really tight.
Okay. And I understand this is a request for a public meeting, and each of the things you just mentioned certainly would be, at least could be brought forward at a public meeting. Michelle, did you have any part to what Councillor Reimel's asked?
No, so through your worship, you know, those are all things that we are looking at. I will say in regards to the reduced front yard setback, that is something the applicant did in response to some comments we provided at the consultation meeting, because initially they were showing parking along the front on Centre Street, which would create some pedestrian issues, especially as Centre Street becomes redeveloped. So we encouraged them to relocate it to the rear with a reduced front yard setback in order to compensate for that. So that was something, that was a variance they requested to the bylaw based on that feedback we provided. I mean, it is, you know, it is a narrow lot. And I know that in the planning justification, one of the reasons they're seeking that reduction in parking is to allow for some opportunities for green space. But I do admit that they are limited partially due to the size of the lot.
So we wait for March 9th for a public meeting on the whole concept that's brought forward. Okay. Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Next item relates to our strategic plan update, Brighter Future monthly update, Pillar 2, a thoughtful, strategic, and sustainable growth. I have a motion that reports CMO 1126 relating to the Brighter Future monthly update, Pillar number 2, be received for information, and further the council provide feedback on this update and each monthly strategic plan progress update going forward to identify priority areas and discussion topics. Moved by Councillor Baldwin-Sands, seconded by Councillor Taylor.
Questions or comments? If I could share right from the beginning, certainly I'm thankful that we're now seeing the strategic plan update. I know Councillor Wookie was looking for this all along, but it also kind of verified to us that we're getting a lot of stuff done through our departments, through the work that they said they were going to take on. So this is the first of those types of reports back to council. So it's your chance to ask those kind of questions. So I saw a hand from Councillor Herbert.
Thank you, Worship. It's a great report, and I'm happy we're doing it now. I'm looking at interest with the public library. They give a lot of interesting data, and obviously there needs to be something done in the future. But I wonder, when they had that satellite library at the Elgin Mall, was that not a workable thing that could be going on now? And so they have a second site, or is it just going to be this one site until something happens? They talk about it being built into the community center, and that's maybe on the horizon, but not for a few years yet, probably. But I just wonder if there's any data to say that was a really well-populated area, the library at the Elgin Mall, and if it's something to look at.
And our guest speaker this evening, we welcome you. You've not had a great chance to do this yet, so.
Oh, this is my first time. Thank you.
Yeah,
Your worship,
I
through your
know.
worship to the counselor. Yeah, that's been brought up a couple times informally, and there's been some discussions around that idea. Back around 2012, when the renovations were happening, before my time, we did have temporary locations there. Now, there were 2 different storefronts that were required for the size of what the library does in that location. After leaving there, we do continue to have a kiosk and a holds locker at the Elgin Center, which are quite well used, and we continue to kind of track usage there to see the numbers and the demand for library materials. Now, as most of you know, or all of you know, the library is much more than just our materials. So having a presence in that area with programming or community space or ways to engage with the public in different ways would be fantastic. The report does detail, if you look in the mapping and where our cardholders are, the heaviest locations in the city where cardholders are, where demand would be, is actually on either side of that. That would be kind of cutting in the middle. So the idea of a pop-up or temporary library location at the mall would certainly be something worth looking into. And I think that's something that the library board would be interested likely in starting to talk about with sort of the eye towards what this plan is talking about, which is a more permanent solution for those neighborhoods that are growing, right?
Go ahead, Councillor Herbert.
Thank you, Safal. Is it costly to run that? Or is it something, a major cost to continue to run it? You'd have to staff it and rent the place, but is that costly for the library?
It would be depending on the scale and the scope of what you're trying to do, right? So relative to what you're trying to achieve, you're going to be looking at your operating cost, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
So rather than waiting for the capital, looking towards the library budget for the board to be able to run services in a temporary way. Yeah.
Councillor Baldwin-Sands? I
Thank
thought
you.
I saw your hand and now I doubt myself and I go, I better ask.
Well, I thank Councillor Herbert for bringing that up because we had the public consultation and the open house, which we'll talk a little bit later. However, between 2018 and 2022, when the committee for the Community Center Aquatic Facility did our tours of community centers within the region, the ones that had a library attached to the community center, that was the #1 driver of attendance. So those are things that we, as the working with the community center, moving forward with it, we've always kept that at the front and on the front burner in regards to looking at that type of proposal moving forward. So I thank the staff for bringing that up, and I thank you for reemphasizing the need. Thank you.
And a question from myself. We're kind of blue skying it at the moment, and you recognize what budget cycles look like. So when do you feel the library board, and I don't want you to speak on their behalf if you can't, will be saying, yes, it's time to take that step? Will it be in conjunction with us working on a recreational center may force us to say it's time, but 2 years, next year, 5 years?
Right. That's the magic question, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you. Thanks for that. Your worship, the library board right now does not have, they have not, decided on a specific timeline in terms of what they're pursuing. I think there's a little bit right now in the room of a wait and see what's happening with a lot of the talk around this aquatic center that was referenced by the councillor. And I think this year will be the year to determine kind of what that timeline looks like. So if we're looking at the actual scoped addendum that you have before you today, you'll see that there are dates in there. Again, recognizing that, yes, we are blue skying and this is not locked in by the board to say, by 2031, we will have a branch. This is a dream. This is what the board would love to see happen. A lot depends on what opportunities come up before us, right?
And I mean, I'll be the first to admit, and I know you will too, that the library's not standing still. I mean, there's been construction equipment out front of the library behind me.
For too long.
But it's still, it tells us about the growth and what we're doing differently. So that tells us we can continue to work on the facility we have and make it all it can be to our community, but then also still look to the future.
That's right.
And one last, thank you for joining us on Groundhog Day. It was great because it's right there beside the library, and we had good fun having you out there in the freezing cold to have Sally see her shadow, and I'll be disappointed about how long winter will last. But thanks for coming this year too.
Thank you.
Further questions, Councillor Clark?
Just that I had a couple people reach out and say they were pleased to see that we're developing an age-friendly plan. And I was pleased to see that they're actually reading our agenda. So that was kind of a double good news story. So, yeah, I guess we'll see how that develops over the next few months.
Yeah. Input or conversation on that, as we say, it's a future leaning piece, but we were just recognized as a age-friendly community in St. Thomas and Elgin, and very pleased to have seen that we were recognized as that. So for us to already have seen it in our strategic plan and to be recognized already, well, I guess we're done. No, we're not. We've got lots more to do, but thank you for bringing it up too, Councillor Clark. Further questions on on the strategic plan piece? Councillor Raimel.
Thank you. Just also to Aaron, I had also with the library, but no, you don't have to get up again. It's okay. Just to support that, aquatic community center might be, quite a piece off, and, perhaps looking at the mall as a small branch just to get started. But I understand the cost, it's always about the budget. But and I just had a question for planning, just when they talk about the city's first secondary plan, the railway lands area secondary plan, is that a similar plan as to the plan we're going to be discussing with Victor and Elm? Is that a kind of a similar thing?
Yeah, so through your worship,
Please go
Councillor
ahead
Weim.
and give us your opinion so that Mr. Pompili can jump in and give us his. So, yes.
So through your worship to Councillor Reimel. Yeah, so this is a little bit different. So the secondary plan is the city's first time undertaking one of these. It's a tool that allows for more locally specific official plan policies just to help guide the future development of the area. So once the railway lands area secondary plan is in place and has these special OP policies to help guide its future development, then from there, a CPPS is something that we could be considering putting in to help expedite development. I think that's something that earlier in the process, it was identified as something that we'd be looking at upon the completion of the study. But no, this is higher level, so it just helps to set out the framework for reviewing any sort of future zoning amendment applications or potentially putting in a community planning permit system in the future.
Thanks.
Okay. Further questions or comments on the strategic plan? Councillor Baldwin-Sands.
Thank you. I would like to hear directly from the strategic manager, initiatives manager, to see if there was any high points in the report for the people that might be watching at home, and generally for the people in the general public and those that are here, if there's anything she would like that she found very interesting in writing this report. Thank you.
And I know she's ready with about 45 minutes worth of notes. Please.
Thank you, Your Worship, through you to Councillor Baldwin-Sands. Really just I wanted to highlight that the progress of the plan is full steam ahead, and we do have a lot of, as was mentioned in the report, there are a lot of initiatives that are in progress, whether those be annualized actions or set dates. We are on track and haven't seen a lot of actions that have fallen off course, so that's great to see. And really just wanted to highlight that these, as we mentioned, these reports will come the second council meeting of every month, focusing on one of our 11 strategic pillars, and really just looking for council to focus on directions, outcomes, and priorities as part of these updates. If there's things that matter most to you that you'd like to see, if you hear from the community of things they'd like to see that might be missing, this is the time to identify those gaps, priorities, or opportunities for funding or other resourcing. So really just puts us on the path to staying in touch with council with these quick touch points, and your feedback will become part of our work as we move forward through this plan. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you for that. And I feel obligated to continue to say to the folks at home or the folks watching as we stream, this is the meat and potatoes of what this council has kind of set out as a governance role for the departments in our community. And I'm quite pleased, as I said at the beginning, how many things are just happening and are mostly completed, even though we haven't talked about them again at this table. So this is giving us an opportunity to brag a little bit about what the different departments in our community are in our city are really doing moving forward. So I look forward to this second meeting of each month where we're going to spend some time talking about the strategic plan and in what category did we do what this. And I'm certain we're not perfect. I'm certain we've got some stuff that we wish we were a little further ahead on too. But tonight, I'm pretty pleased with what we've picked to go first and a chance to talk about things like the library and even what we're doing from a planning point of view. Further questions or comments from council? Councillor Reimel.
I just wanted to mention one thing, and thanks to Councillor Clark mentioning about the age-friendly, but also I thought at one time there was a feasibility study as far as seniors day program, expanding the day program. And because to me, the senior center is an ideal location to have another standalone seniors day program. And the issue with the day program too is there is significant funding from the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care for the day program. So it's a very cost-effective program.
Well, Councillor Reimel, you're absolutely right. We've asked Michael Carroll about it 2 or 3 times and how can we move forward, and the provincial funding that's available is somewhat available. And we've been talking a lot about, is this a help towards increasing use and space of Valley View or helping people who may be on that list to get the Valley View? So yeah, still a pretty good conversation. I see Michael on here tonight. Michael, if you wanted to jump in and say anything for Councillor Reimel, that would be helpful.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, the Adult Day program is a wonderful avenue to help our senior population in the community. As Council is aware, we are still waiting for a funding stream to be able to deliver another Adult Day program site or to expand the current site at Valley View. And as of today, there still hasn't been any announcement on the details or the particulars of that particular funding. But as soon as I know, I will bring a report to Council outlining the amount of funding that is available and various options that are available to us.
And we'll keep asking you too, Michael. I know now Joan's interested too, so we're gonna double team you for a little bit.
That's okay.
Further questions or comments? Well, thank you for your participation tonight. And this is kind of the format we'll be looking at on a monthly basis now to look at our strategic plan going forward. City Manager, anything from you on kind of the process and what we're doing?
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to Council, I appreciate Council's feedback for this plan. I think this is one of the main initiatives that my office has undertaken. I want to give credit to the leadership team in advancing the key action items of the plan. In particular, there's a series of studies that have been undertaken, in particular by Kevin's department, Environmental Services, or Lou with the planning, these long-range planning documents. While we do use consultant resources, they are taxing on staff resources as well to provide all those documents. And also, we appreciate the public's participation in all of those processes. So a transportation master plan, we'll be launching a transit master plan later this year. These are all very important in helping us shape that brighter future.
Great. Seeing no more further comments or questions, all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried.
No further items for this committee unless there are any items from the members. Seeing none, Your Worship, we'll now move to community engagement and services. First item relates to wind phone installation at Pinafore Park. I have a motion that report PR 0526 relating to wind phone installation at Pinafore Park be received for information. Moved by Councillor Reimel, seconded by Councillor Taylor.
Questions or comments? Councillor Clark.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is a great little project. I'm on the Catfish Creek Conservation Authority, and they had a similar request, and the phone was put in this summer and has been reported to us that it was highly used. It's really an emotional positive for people to go out and be able to spend some time in a quiet area and go through the grieving process. So I think it's a great opportunity, and I'm glad that our Parks Department is pursuing it.
Adrian, would you like to share anything with us on the report?
Thank you, Your Worship. We are looking forward to getting this installation done in the spring. We're currently in the process of designing what the phone is going to be positioned on, and then meeting with the accessibility committee at the end of the month just to make sure that it meets their needs. But yes, we are looking forward to adding this to the Memory Garden in Pinafore Park.
Super. Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
No further items for this committee unless there are any items from members.
Councillor Baldwin-Sands?
Thank you. On January 22nd, we held at the Joe Thornton Arena an open house in regards to feedback from the public in regards to the update to the Parks and Rec Master Plan. And we have consultation open to the public to give their feedback until February 13th. So I was hoping that Adrian Lacey Griffiths will be able to give us an update on what she felt and how she felt the evening went with the open house. Thank you.
Great. Adrian?
Through Your Worship, thank you, Councillor Baldwin-Sands. We had over 100 people attend the open house, so it was a really good turnout. The consultant was very happy with that. As well as we've received a number of emails into the parks plan at stthomas.ca email address, people giving their thoughts on mostly the aquatic feasibility study. So we wanted to remind the public that there's still time open until February the 13th, this coming Friday, for their comment. And the consultant has asked that people take a minute just to focus on the Parks and Rec Master Plan more so in these last few days, just so we can gather some comments on that. So again, comments can be submitted to parksplan@stthomas.ca or through customer service, and we'll make sure that they get to the consultant by the deadline. Thank you.
Super. I hope that helps get some more comments out there and more people chatting. Further questions or comments? Seeing none? Next.
If there's nothing further for this committee, we'll now move to infrastructure and civic operations. First item relates to the traffic signal and streetlight maintenance tender award. I have a motion that report ES 0326 relating to the traffic signal and streetlight maintenance tender 2026-01 award be received for information, and further the council award tender 2026-01 submitted by Earth Holding Incorporated for the provision of traffic signal and streetlight maintenance services for a 5-year term, and further that administration be authorized to exercise the city's option to extend the contract for an additional 3-year term based on the terms and conditions outlined in RFT 2026-01, subject to satisfactory contractor performance review. Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Reimel.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
No further items on the agenda for this committee unless there are any items from the members.
Councillor Wookie.
Thanks, Your Worship. A comment and a question. I just want to thank the environmental services team. I don't know which person or people designed the street lighting plan for Fairview and Burwell, that intersection, but I was there at night and it's very well lit and very safe and very well done. It's nice and bright and we can see really well. So kudos to the design team for doing a great job on that. My second one is a question for the director, for Kevin. As I drive up Fairview and the backyards that back onto Fairview, they have the bricks in the brick columns, and then they have the fence. They're starting to break down those fences that back onto across the street from St. Joe's there. And if you could, Kevin, could you remind me what the process is for replacing those fences? Like, is that their property? I believe it's the people's property who they are on, or is that something that we're involved in? Are there restrictions? Because I see they're all going to start to collapse at the same time, and it's happening right now. There's snow against them, and it's just wondering how that goes. And that's not the only place in town that we have those, but that is a very long section, and they're unusual fences because some of them go like this, some of them go like that, and whether those people have to replace them like that, do they have to get permits and all those things around that? Thanks very much.
Mr. Dilley, the complicated, which ones go like this and which one, no. Go.
And the answer is quite as complicated as that as well, because we'll have to look back into the subdivision agreement for where the responsibility lies. There are different provisions saying sometimes it's the private owner or private property's responsibilities. Sometimes it says that, get 3 quotes and the city will do up to this amount of the repair. So I do need to go back and take a look at the subdivision agreement for those to make sure that we follow what was registered on title.
Well, great. Can we put that under unfinished business then and ask for you to bring it back at some point in the future?
Sure.
Okay. Councillor Clark?
Thanks, Your Worship. The roundabout at Ron McNeil Line, the second one in, I don't know if it's gate 2 or something, not the main one with the artwork already, is unlit. And I was just wondering if there was plans to light that roundabout.
Through the mayor to Councillor Clark, I can connect with the industrial development team to see if there is I believe so, based on on the poles that are located in that area, but the energization may be a bit delayed until the rest of the industrial park starts getting underway.
So we'll take that again as, we'll hear back from you. Perfect. Anything else for this committee? Seeing none?
Sorry, Your Worship, have we taken the vote on the traffic signal maintenance?
I think so, but I'll do it again just to, belt and suspenders it. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried. Now, we have 2 contracts for streetlights.
Never hurts. Your Worship, if there's no further items, we'll move to corporate governance and administration. First item relates to Parks and Recreation Services 2026 rates and fees bylaw. I have a motion that report PR 0426 relating to the Parks and Recreation Services 2026 rates and fees bylaw be received for information, and further the council authorize the preparation of a fees bylaw pursuant to section 391 of the Municipal Act to amend bylaw 188-2002. Moved by Councillor Taylor, second by Councillor Rymal.
Questions or comments? Councillor Herbert.
Thank you, Worship. I'm just curious. I see the pickleball rate is $2.50 an hour. How is that collected? Is it $2.50 an hour for one person? Like there's groups out there that, do they rent the surface? And what would that type of thing? I'm not sure how if I went out with my pickleball stuff, could I just go and play, or do I have to pay $2.50 somewhere before I could go and play? Just curious.
Since it's you, Councillor. Yeah.
Through Your Worship to Councillor Herbert, that is the rate that the groups, so the teams would play, not for just walk-on play. So that's only for, the pickleball clubs that use it, throughout the week. But for the public, it's still free.
All right, good. So the pickleball teams are only paying $2.50 an hour?
That's correct.
And they rent all the courts?
Yes, it would be per court, per hour.
Oh, that's pretty good. Anyway, and it's collected ahead of time through you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Clark?
That's per person though, right? Yeah.
Further questions or comments on the fees and rates? Seeing none, all those in favor of the report? Any opposed? That's carried.
Unless there are any further items for this committee, council will now reconvene into regular session. I have a motion that the recommendations, directions, and actions of council and committee of the whole, as recorded in the minutes of this date, be confirmed, ratified, and adopted. Moved by Councillor Rymal, second by Councillor Taylor.
Questions or comments? Councillor Clark?
Just, I'm not sure if it's, if we've got to 21 yet, report spending, or have we passed it, or are we in the middle of it?
No, we kind of went by it on that. So did you want something under report spending?
Yeah, I was just wondering, when we mentioned, when Councillor Rymal mentioned the adult day program, we had asked that a few weeks back that we start to look at so that if the money did flow, that we had a plan in place, whether or not we would put it at the senior center or whether we would put it an addition on to Valley View, or whether there was room at Valley View to run 2 programs already in that space. So my understanding was that there should be a report coming on that, so that should be listed. And I just didn't know if we weren't listing the reports or if there was any others other than that one.
Can we be sure to put, Madam Clerk?
Your worship, as council may recall, we agreed that reports that are outstanding would be dealt with by the city manager. And there is a listing that the city manager brings forward at every leadership team meeting. And that particular item is on the unfinished business list.
And so if it became finished or further information, it would then come to council on the week following? Yep, okay, so. Yes?
Sure. Through your worship to Councillor Clark, we will target March 2nd for that report date.
Perfect. All right. Sorry,
Supplement-
going back on
Supplementary.
21?
Yeah, just maybe it would help people like me. Would it be possible to list the outstanding reports so that we would know as we pick them off, which ones are, where we're at in the queue and when they were going to be reported to us?
Sure. City Manager?
Yeah, through your worship to Councillor Clark, it's my understanding prior to my arrival that those reports used to be included as part of the agenda, and it was council direction to remove them. However, I'm happy to put them back on the agenda if council would like a better tracking method.
Sure. And I'm seeing nods, so I'm going to go with the approval of this council, not the last one, apparently. All right, that finishes number 21. Let's move on then to the corporate governance and administration.
Your worship, at this time, we are in section 23, dealing with the recommendations, directions, and actions of council.
And we had a mover and seconder, and then I asked for comments. And so comments and questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
No reports of committees this evening. Next, we move into communications. First item is a request for proclamation, flag raising, and jumbo lighting relating to World Autism Awareness Day. I have a motion that Council of the City of St. Thomas proclaim April 2nd, 2026 as World Autism Awareness Day in the City of St. Thomas, and further that the Autism Awareness flag be flown at City Hall from April 2nd to 9th, 26, and further that the Jumbo Monument be lit in blue from April 2nd to 9th, 2026. Moved by Councillor Clark, second by Councillor Rymal.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Next item is a request for a proclamation and flag raising from CMHA, Thames Valley Addiction and Mental Health Services. I have a motion that Council of the City of St. Thomas proclaim May 4th to 10th, 2026 as Mental Health Week in the City of St. Thomas, and further that the Canadian Mental Health Association Thames Valley Addiction and Mental Health Services flag be flown at City Hall from May 5th to 10th, 2026. Moved by Councillor Herbert, seconded by Councillor Taylor.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Next is a request for a proclamation, flag raising, and jumbo lighting from the Elgin County Drowning Prevention Coalition. I have a motion that the Council of the City of St. Thomas proclaim July 19th to 25th, 2026 as Drowning Prevention Week in the City of St. Thomas, and further that the Elgin County Drowning Prevention flag be flown at City Hall from July 20th to 25th, 2026, and further that the Jumbo Monument be lit in blue from July 19th to 25th, 2026. Moved by Councillor Baldwin Sands, second by Councillor Rymal.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Next item is a request for proclamation, flag raising, and jumbo lighting relating to Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. I have a motion that Council of the City of St. Thomas proclaim September 2026 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in the City of St. Thomas, and further that the Gold Ribbon Awareness flag be flown at City Hall from September 21st to 28th, 2026, and further that the Jumbo Monument be lit in gold from September 21st to 28th, 2026. Moved by Councillor Taylor, seconded by Councillor Clark.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Next item, a letter has been received requesting that council acknowledge the 4-year anniversary of the invasion of Ukraine. I have a motion that council of the city of St. Thomas acknowledge the 4-year anniversary of the invasion of Ukraine on February the 24th, 2026. Moved by Councillor Kohler, seconded by Councillor Herbert.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
And further to that, there was an invitation to the members to attend a vigil at Central United Church from 4 till 5:30 p.m. on February the 22nd, 2026. Your worship, that concludes the items under communications. Unless there are any further items from the members, we'll move into unfinished business of council.
Seeing none.
Seeing no items of unfinished business, we'll now move to new business of council.
Councillor Herbert.
Thank you, Worship. I wonder if we could get an update on when the new animal shelter is going to open. I just wonder where they're at.
Through you, Your Worship, I don't have an exact date, but things are progressing. I believe it will be soon. I can provide an update next week for council if they'd like.
That'd be great, Lou. Thank you. I'm getting a lot of requests from citizens too, so we'll give them the answer. Further new business. I wanted to thank the fire chief for a great event at the fire hall this morning. I know that the Solicitor General was in town. We also visited our police service this morning. This is a active Solicitor General. He comes about once a month, it seems, to some place, and Chief, the event this morning was about recognizing long service in your group, but also to put forward a challenge coin situation, recognizing Captain Redmond and the family was there. And I want to tell you what a great event it was, and a bit heart-tugging, but it was really good this morning. Way to go. We don't get to hang out with the fire trucks that often, so anytime you want to invite us, it's great. Further new business? Seeing none.
We'll now move into public notice. Notice is hereby provided that administration intends to introduce a bylaw at the February the 17th, 2026 council meeting to amend bylaw 188-2002, being a bylaw to impose fees and charges with respect to recreation services matters. No notices of motion this evening. There is a need to move into closed session. I have a motion that this meeting be closed to deal with a position plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality, and a personal matter about an identifiable individual. Moved by Councillor Baldwin-Sands, seconded by Councillor Rymal.
Before I call for the vote, we will be going into closed session. We have about 20 minutes left before we have to be back here for a public meeting. So if we can accomplish the closed session in that period of time, it'll be great. If we cannot, we will return here, do the public meeting, finish the closed session, and then come back into open session for the passing of the bylaws. So that being said, questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of going to closed session, that's carried.
Your worship, at this time, I have a motion that council rise from closed session. Moved by Councillor Rymal, seconded by Councillor Taylor.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Your worship, if we can move back into the open session of council. Our last remaining open session item is bylaws. I have a motion that leave be granted to bring in the bylaws. Moved by Councillor Baldwin-Sands, seconded by Councillor Rymal.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried.
I have a motion by Councillor Baldwin-Sands, seconded by Councillor Rymal, that the bylaws be now read a first time, referred to council and committee of the whole, and read a second time.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
First bylaw, please.
First bylaw is a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council meeting held on the 9th day of February, 2026.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Next bylaw, please.
Second bylaw is a bylaw to amend bylaw 41-2025, being a bylaw to regulate the erection and maintenance of advertising signs and other advertising devices. This relates to election signs.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Next bylaw, please.
Third bylaw is a bylaw to appoint a bylaw enforcement officer, being Josh Nixon. This relates to tree bylaws.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Next bylaw, please.
Fourth bylaw is a bylaw to amend bylaw 45-89, being a bylaw to revise and consolidate certain bylaws regulating traffic and the parking of motor vehicles. This relates to no parking on Woodworth Avenue, Hammond Street to South Edgeware Road.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Next bylaw, please.
Fifth bylaw is a bylaw to amend bylaw 50-88, being the zoning bylaw for the city of St. Thomas. This is to permit 2 3-story apartment dwellings, 1 5-story apartment dwelling, and an existing triplex at 57, 59, 65, and 75 Walnut Street.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Last bylaw, please.
Sixth bylaw is a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute and affix the seal of the corporation to a certain agreement between the city and Ayodeji Oluwasegun Gobani. And this relates to Heritage Facade and Building Improvement Loan Agreement under the Community Improvement Program for the property at 637 to 639 Talbot Street.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Your worship, I rise and report the successful passing of 6 bylaws.
Great work.
I have a motion by Councillor Baldwin Sands, seconded by Councillor Rymal, that the report of council and committee of the whole on the 6 bylaws be received and adopted. The same be read a third time, engrossed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Forgot where my line was. Terrible actor today.
No further items in open session, Your Worship, and we have concluded closed. At this time, I have a motion for adjournment by Councillor Baldwin Sands, seconded by Councillor Rymal.
Questions or comments on adjournment? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.